The defendant is not guilty.
I'm really chosen, yeah, I'm built for it. That's why I ain't never quit. I do what I want, I'm having motion, and it ain't stopping. I ain't even have to rap, but I'm just knowing that I got options. They ain't never trying to drop the low, don't put me in no song. Acting like a bitch, you might as well tell them put on the phone. And my people rocking with me regardless for right or wrong. Got some on the way, it's coming soon, it ain't gonna take too long. And I'm really who I say I am, so you can't pull my card. Might not be your favorite rapper, but you know I'm stepping hard. Anything I say, I got the proof, and this ain't nothing new. So when you catch them speaking on my name, make sure they tell the truth.
This is Billy Bennett Adams III, a 25-year-old Tampa rapper performing under the stage name Ace NH, who just 3 days after being found not guilty in a double homicide case, would be arrested again for killing a pregnant woman and leaving her lifeless in a driveway, with her 18-month-old boy sleeping in a car seat, unaware that his mother lay dead just feet away. But before we get to that night of January 30th, 2023, let me take you back to where this story begins, because what you're about to hear involves a pattern of behavior that would raise red flags.
Buzz knife on the AK, run up, get your top cut. So I'm trying to get up out the jam, but he got stuck. Remember when I had my back on the wall? You niggas don't get no money at all. Say the wrong thing and I'm making a call. Pull up, no talking, we knocking them off. Young nigga, I was down bad in the worst way. Flash shot, cash shot, made it off a perk play. Brand new Glock and we going on the first date.
In November of 2020, Billy Adams was at a recording studio in Lutz, Florida. But on this night, instead of music being created, 2 lives would be taken. Trevon Albury and Daniel Thompson would be shot and killed at that recording studio, and Billy Adams would be the one holding the weapon. From the beginning, Adams had a story ready. He claimed that Albury and Thompson had entered the studio armed for robbery, and that he intervened to protect others. Adams would argue he had no choice but to use deadly force. But here's where things get troubling. Despite these contradictions, a jury would hear the case and ultimately side with Billy Adams. On January 27, 2023, after more than 2 years of legal proceedings, Adams would walk out of that courtroom a free man. But the jury's decision didn't come easy, and what happened during deliberations reveals something chilling. The jury that acquitted him didn't find his testimony credible. So why did they let him walk free? Little did they know that within 72 hours, another person would be dead, and this time the victim would be someone who had attended his trial, someone who was carrying what could have been his child.
I put a smile on my face like I work at McDonald's, cause bitch, I'm loving it. We in the club, I deep as a bitch. We gon' hit this bitch out, now stop all that muggy shit. Get on the beat, spaz, rock out, bitch, I'm too turned up. Niggas pussy, they be capping, bitch, gon' get your house burnt up. But in my language, bitch, I speak it. Really be talking, they say I'm preaching. Yo, girl, out on me for no reason. Ballin' too hard as a hell of a...
Her name was Alana Sims, and she was only 22 years old. Alana was a single mother with an 18-month-old son, 5 months pregnant with her second child. She had been in a relationship with Billy Adams and attended court to watch as the jury delivered their not guilty verdict. On January 29, 2023, just 2 days after Adams's acquittal, something happened that would set the stage for tragedy. According to evidence that would later come to light, Adams sent a text message to an associate named LaKenya Wantley. Adams wrote the words, "Tomorrow this shit done," in reference to ending his involvement with Sims because of her pregnancy. The next day, January 30th, Adams would put whatever plan he had been formulating into motion. Prosecutors alleged that he lured Alana Sims to the Easton Park subdivision in New Tampa under the pretense of attending a celebration party for his recent acquittal. What happened next in that quiet suburban neighborhood was brutal. The discovery of Alana Sims' body that evening would immediately trigger an intensive investigation by the Tampa Police Department, and what they would uncover would paint a picture of premeditation.
And we begin tonight with a pregnant mother found beside an SUV in Tampa, her 1.5-year-old son asleep and unharmed inside. Tonight, her family is desperate for answers. This is Nightside. I'm Dave Wagner.
And I'm Angelina Salcido. 22-year-old Elena Sims was found lying in the street last night near the Eastern Park subdivision in New Tampa. Tonight, her family spoke only to 10 Tampa Bay's Shannon Clough, saying they just want to know what happened to her.
Elena's sister tells me she would have been 23 in just 2 weeks. Her 5 siblings are heartbroken knowing she was found in New Tampa. Her son just feet away unharmed. Tonight, Elena's family says they just want some answers.
Her as a person, she was very selfless.
Elena Sims' sister says she was a single mother with a heart of gold.
She always had a smile on her face, always was positive, no matter what.
Carly Williams says Elena radiated her positivity onto her 1.5-year-old son and her 5 sisters.
But Elena, she was like a mother for all of us. That was like, everybody makes a joke all the time. Even though I'm older than her, she was taller than me.
Carly's bond with Elena was special.
My closest sibling. Like, that was my best friend. I told her everything. We did everything together.
The two spent endless hours at the beach and took spontaneous trips. She says Elena was a caring sister and mother, expecting another child in just months.
She was also 5 months pregnant currently.
So much was taken from this family Monday night. Tampa police say Elena was found in this area of New Tampa. A person called police when they saw her lying in the street near the Easton Park subdivision. Her 1.5-year-old son was sleeping in an SUV just next to her.
At this point, we're saying that her injuries are upper body trauma. I can tell you that when she was laying on the ground, it appeared that she'd been deceased for at least a bit of time.
Tampa police say Elena was targeted and potentially attacked by someone who knew her. Elena's sister says they grew up in Tampa, but this neighborhood isn't familiar to the family.
So we don't really know why she was in that area.
As far as what happened and who killed her,
we have no idea what has happened.
Carly says Elena's son will be taken care of by family. All of them heartbroken they'll be without their rock.
And everybody loves her. Everybody that comes around her, gravitates towards her.
Her family is raising money to lay her to rest. If you want to donate, we have a link on our website, 10tampabay.com. And if you know anything, contact Tampa Police or Crime Stoppers. I'm in the studio, Shannon Clow, 10 Tampa Bay.
The Tampa police detectives described this case as horrific and quickly gathered every piece of evidence to build their case against Billy Adams. The first crucial piece of evidence came from surveillance systems in the neighborhood. The black Chevy Malibu was registered to Adams' father, and evidence would show that Billy had been driving it that night. But it gets even more damning. When police searched the interior of that black Chevy Malibu, they discovered physical evidence that would further link the vehicle to the incident. Inside the vehicle, investigators found 2 live 9mm rounds, ammunition that would become a key piece of evidence. But perhaps the most damning evidence came from Adams' own phone. Investigators discovered that at 6:43 in the evening on January 30th, Billy Adams had used his smartphone to search for the specific location in Easton Park where Alana's body would later be found. He's searching for this exact location on his phone. And then hours later, Alana Sims is found deceased at that very same spot.
When Tampa police initially approached Billy Adams for questioning about Alana's death, he had a ready answer. Adams told investigators that he had never left his parents' house on the night of January 30th, that he had been home the entire evening. But as investigators continued to gather evidence, as surveillance footage was analyzed and digital records were examined, Adams' initial story began to crumble. The surveillance video, the Ring camera footage, the phone records showing his search for the Easton Park location, all of it painted a picture completely inconsistent with his claim of never leaving the house. Faced with this overwhelming evidence, Billy Adams changed his story. He now admitted that yes, he had been driving the black Chevy Malibu that night, that he hadn't been truthful in his initial statements to police. But rather than taking responsibility, Adams once again reached for the same defense strategy that had worked successfully for him just 3 days earlier. He claimed that Alana Sims had pulled a gun on him first, that he had been forced to act in self-defense. But there were critical problems with Adams' self-defense claim this time. First, Alana Sims had no history of violence whatsoever. She was described as a devoted mother, focused on caring for her young son and preparing for her second child. Second, investigators have never recovered any weapon that Alana supposedly used to threaten him. Police have stated that no gun belonging to Alana Sims has ever been found. Third,
Adams's own behavior in the aftermath doesn't match someone who had just been forced to use deadly force in self-defense. Instead, Adams initially denied any involvement whatsoever, claiming he never left his house, and only changed his story when confronted with evidence that contradicted his alibi.
A very busy Wednesday as we come on the air. We are on top of 2 news alerts at this hour. A student shot and killed in Hernando County and a shocking arrest in Tampa. This is 10 Tampa Bay at 5. I'm Josh Sidorowicz.
And I'm Emerald Morrow in for Courtney Robinson. We begin in Tampa, where today a rapper recently acquitted of a double murder is under arrest once again. They say Billy Adams, who goes by Ace NH, is responsible for killing a woman in New Tampa just days after he was released. Police found the woman's body outside a car while her child was asleep inside.
Tonight, investigators say that woman was in some sort of relationship with Adams, but he wanted nothing to do with her. 10 Tampa Bay's Angelina Salcido is live outside Tampa PD headquarters tonight. Angie, investigators say this woman was pregnant.
Yeah, Josh and Emerald, they were able to arrest Tampa rapper Billy Adams just 9 days after 22-year-old Alana Sims, who was 5 months pregnant at the time, was found outside of her car in New Tampa. Her 1-year-old son still inside the car, found unharmed. Now, we do know that Billy was arrested today at his parents' home in New Tampa. He is now charged with 1 count of first-degree premeditated murder and 1 count of an unborn child. We can also confirm Adams and Sims were known to each other. Detectives say the rapper is believed to be the father of the unborn child.
It would appear that the motive is that he did not want to be in her life anymore and was not ready to, have a child.
Police say Alana thought she was on her way to a party for Adams the night she was 9 days ago. She was about 8 miles away from the location where she was told to go when she was shot. Now, detectives say Adams's vehicle was spotted in video near the location where she was found. When they interviewed him, he admitted to pulling the trigger the night of her death. Now, all of this happened just 3 days after Adams was acquitted in the of 2 men at a home recording studio. That incident happened back in November of 2020 and was investigated by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. Now, Adams testified that he acted in self-defense, claiming the 2 men he were attempting to rob the owner of the studio. The owner of the studio also testified, though, saying he didn't witness an attempted robbery and wasn't in fear until after Adams suddenly started shooting. Now, the jury ultimately sided with Adams and came to a not guilty verdict there. Detectives here at the Tampa Police Department say that this case of the murder of this mother and her unborn child is horrific. They still have not recovered the weapon that was used here. I spoke to Alana's family not too long ago. They tell me they are happy that an arrest was made, but they're still mourning her death tonight. We're live tonight in Tampa. Angelina Salcido, 10 Tampa Bay.
The inconsistencies in Adams' statements, the changed stories, the initial denials followed by revised admissions, all of it created a pattern that prosecutors would argue demonstrated consciousness of guilt. Legal analysts examining the case noted that the evidence appeared strong for the prosecution. On February 8, 2023, just 9 days after Alana Sims' body was found, Tampa police arrested Billy Bennett Adams III and charged him with first-degree murder and killing an unborn child by injury to the mother. Adams made his initial court appearance on February 9, 2023. 4 days later, on what would have been Alana Sims' 23rd birthday, Adams appeared for a bond hearing. Judge Taylor presided over that hearing, and after considering the evidence and the nature of the charges, the court denied bond. Adams would remain in custody at Falkenberg Road Jail without the possibility of posting bail.
I'm covering the case of Billy Bennett Adams this afternoon. The state has filed a motion for pretrial detention, which my understanding is that the defense does not contest. Is that correct?
We're not contesting it.
Okay, so just so the record's clear, I will find that the defendant does pose a threat of harm to the community because of what the defendant is currently charged with. And I also find that there's no conditions of release that are reasonably sufficient to protect the community from the risk of physical harm to persons. Is there anything else I need to add?
No, not right now, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, all right, so Mr. Adams, you will be held without bond on these 2 counts, and not sure what's going to happen afterwards, but as of today, it's no bond on these 2 counts.
During that same hearing, the Adams defense team, led by attorneys Jamie Kane and Rocky Brancato, made a motion that would have significant implications. The defense requested a protective order, that would prevent law enforcement, prosecutors, and court officials from making statements to the media or releasing case-related documents to the press.
What we're asking the court to do is, because of the unusual nature of this case and the procedural, uniqueness, we're asking the court to issue a protective order and to order that no one from the State Attorney's Office, Tampa Police Department, Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, or the Clerk of Court issue or make any statements or provide any discovery. I can say that over the past 3 days, People magazine has picked up the story. The Daily Mail in London has picked up the story. The widespread publicity is staggering.
In the weeks and months that followed, Adams entered a not guilty plea to the charges against him, maintaining his claim of self-defense. On March 24, 2023, the Hillsborough County State Attorney's Office filed notice of their intent to seek the death penalty against Billy Bennett Adams III. In their filing, prosecutors described Alana Sims' death as cold, calculated, and premeditated. The decision to pursue capital punishment requires meeting specific criteria under Florida law. The state would argue that this case met those criteria on multiple fronts: the premeditated nature, evidenced by the text message and phone search, the vulnerability of the victim, and the fact that the crime involved the death of an unborn child. The pretrial process has been marked by numerous hearings and legal motions that have stretched across multiple years. On March 29, 2023, the court granted a temporary protective order to limit the public release of certain evidence. The defense continued to fight to keep various records sealed. In May of 2023, there was a hearing specifically focused on whether certain records should remain sealed. The defense prevailed partially in these efforts. New information came to light. Court documents revealed possible gang connections through jailhouse phone calls that Adams had made while being held at Falkenberg Road Jail. These calls suggested potential gang affiliations that prosecutors indicated could be used as aggravating factors if Adams were convicted. Around the same time, Adams withdrew his demand for a speedy trial.
Get your crew split, money toss, I make them dollars walk, bro, make that chopper spark. You say that you won't smoke, my niggas post up on your block and stalk. I plays like a quarterback, knock you off, I can order that. Give them smoke, this that Florida gas, that get up, can't ignore the rest. I make money every day, but I'm still hacking like I'm broke. I know niggas who say they real, but they still act like a hoe. Bitch, you know it's me, ain't nothing changed, I'm still keeping the pole. Suffocating all the ops, we give them smoke and make them choke.
In August of 2023, additional forensic evidence linking Adams to the scene was publicized through court documents. But then came a series of legal developments that would complicate the prosecution's strategy. In December of 2023, Judge Samantha Ward ruled that only 8 jurors would be needed to recommend the death penalty for Billy Adams, citing a change in Florida law enacted in April 2023. However, this ruling would not stand. On April 12, 2024, Judge Ward issued a different ruling that reversed her previous decision, determining that Florida's 2023 capital sentencing amendment could not be applied retroactively to Adams's case. Since Adams' case had begun before the amendment's effective date of April 20, 2023, the prior unanimity requirement would apply. The state appealed this decision to Florida's 2nd District Court of Appeal, and on March 19, 2025, the appellate court denied the state's appeal, upholding Judge Ward's ruling that Adams's case would require a unanimous jury agreement for any death penalty recommendation. As of December 2025, Billy Bennett Adams III remains in custody without bond at Falkenberg Road Jail, awaiting trial on charges of first-degree premeditated murder and killing an unborn child by injury to the mother. No trial date has been set according to the most recently publicly available records. For Alana Sims' family, the lengthy pretrial process has meant years of waiting for justice, years of mourning without closure. In the immediate aftermath of Adams's arrest, Alana's family told reporters they were grateful that someone had been charged. The juror from Adams' double homicide acquittal, the one who had predicted there would be another body, expressed feelings that many people share when they heard about Alana's death. The juror never imagined it would happen within just days of the acquittal, and certainly not with such tragic consequences for a pregnant woman and her unborn child. The Hillsborough County State Attorney's Office released a statement acknowledging the jury's verdict in the prior case, while making it clear their commitment to prosecuting Adams. For the young boy who was found sleeping in that car seat while his mother lay deceased nearby, the impact will last a lifetime. He lost his mother before he was old enough to form lasting memories of her. He lost a sibling he'll never meet, and he'll grow up knowing that his life was forever altered by an act of violence. Whether this case will ultimately go to trial, whether it might be resolved through a plea agreement, whether Adams will be convicted or acquitted again, all of that remains to be seen. What is certain is that on January 30th, 2023, Alana Sims lost her life in a tragedy that should never have happened. What do you think about this case? Let me know in the comments section below.